Okay, so get ready because we are about to take a deep dive.
A deep dive into a very interesting excerpt.
That's right, very interesting and very dense.
Yeah,
This one's going to really stretch your imagination.
it really will. It blends science and philosophy.
And a little bit of speculative fiction.
No, absolutely. A touch of that for sure.
Um, but it's all built around, some really interesting concepts.
It is.
Like Nick Land's accelerationism
Hmm.
and cybernetic culture,
Right?
which, I mean, talk about something that's really relevant right now.
Absolutely. Very timely.
That fusion of technology and society and where we're going as, this sort of
As a species.
technological species.
Yeah.
But, this isn't meant to be taken literally
Yeah.
as like, this is exactly how things are going to go.
That was a thought experiment.
Yeah. This is for sparking thought experiments.
Yeah, I like that.
So just, keep that in mind as we go through this.
Yeah.
But it dives headfirst into this idea of the multiverse.
It does.
But not just any multiverse.
Not just any multiverse.
Like one that's potentially shaped by human consciousness itself.
By our consciousness, by our thoughts, our choices.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, we're hit with this image
Yep.
of the year 7541 AD.
Okay.
And it's not just like some random date.
Right.
It's potentially marking the anniversary of not just our universe,
Mm-hmm.
but a quintillion universes.
That's a lot of universes.
How do we even wrap our heads around that?
That's where the mind-bending really starts.
Yeah.
The excerpt suggests that if you think about it,
Yep.
human consciousness,
Yeah.
if it can influence quantum reality, then every choice,
Yeah.
every thought we have
Mm-hmm.
could be creating a branching timeline.
So every time I hit the snooze button,
That's potentially a new universe right there.
I'm creating a new universe where I'm perpetually late.
Maybe it's an interesting thought, isn't it?
That's a lot of pressure.
It is. And with billions of minds all making choices, you can imagine the numbers we're talking about.
It's almost inconceivable.
It really is a near infinite number of branching realities, all stemming from our thoughts and decisions.
Okay, I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed here.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but the excerpt addresses that too,
Okay, good.
thankfully.
Because I need a little break here.
Well, it introduces this concept of quantum annulment, and it's kind of like a balancing act.
Okay.
So as easily as universes are created, a lot of them might fold back into the original timeline. They sort of cancel each other out.
So it's self-correcting.
In a way, yeah, like a self-correcting mechanism in the grand scheme of things.
So all those times I chose Netflix over the gym, maybe those universes just went
Poof!
poof.
Gone.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Well, our limited memory might be a clue to this.
Okay.
Some choices just aren't significant enough to have a lasting impact, you know.
Right.
It's the big ones we have to think about.
Okay, so that makes sense, like the butterfly effect.
Exactly.
Where it's like, okay, yeah, maybe if I have pizza instead of a salad, it's not going to
Not going to reshape reality,
Exactly.
but some choices, some decisions, those have a ripple effect.
The big ones, yeah.
The really big ones, the ones that change history, those are the ones that stick up.
Okay, so then what about free will?
That's the question,
Now,
isn't it?
if all those little choices get erased,
Yeah.
what about the big ones?
That's where things get really interesting,
Okay.
because the excerpt uses the example of some of history's most influential figures.
Right, so like pick one.
Let's say Einstein.
Okay.
His work, his ideas, they shape the course of scientific thought, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what happens to those realities, the ones he influenced, if even his impact eventually fades from memory?
So it's almost like those universes become ghost stories.
It's a haunting thought, isn't it? Like echoes of choices made and forgotten, rippling through this vast multiverse.
Are we talking about like entire historical periods
Potentially. Yeah.
just blinking out of existence because
Because they're no longer remembered, no longer shaping the fabric of reality as we understand it.
wow. So okay, so then it gets even darker
It does take a bit of a turn.
because it talks about other entities.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
Who might be influencing these quantum realities.
Yeah, and these aren't just your friendly neighborhood entities. These are beings from other dimensions,
Right?
existing outside of our normal perception, maybe even feeding off of these forgotten realities.
Okay, so that's a little unsettling.
It is a bit unsettling, this idea that we're not alone in shaping reality, that there are forces at play we can barely comprehend.
And that maybe these forgotten universes
Yes.
are the price we pay for having free will.
That's the question the excerpt poses, the price of choice in this grand, chaotic system.
It makes you think.
It certainly does. It really makes you question, everything we think we know about reality and our place in it.
It's like we're these little boats tossing around on this vast ocean of possibilities, and we have no idea what's lurking beneath the surface.
It's a humbling thought, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And to make matters even more complex, the excerpt suggests that all of these countless universes, branching off in every direction, might be more similar than we think.
It's a fascinating idea, and it really makes you question the limits of our own imagination.
Okay.
Because the excerpt proposes that our brains, which are products of this specific universe with its specific laws, might be fundamentally limited in their capacity to imagine something truly alien.
So we're kind of like
trapped.
Trapped, in a way. Yeah, trapped within the framework of our own existence. So even if we try to conceive of these wildly different realities, we're still stuck using the same building blocks.
Exactly. Like trying to explain color to someone who's been blind since birth.
It's beyond our grasp.
It's a concept that might be beyond our current evolutionary ability to even grasp.
Okay, so we're stuck in this cosmic echo chamber.
In a sense.
Only able to conjure up variations on a theme we already know.
It seems that way, at least according to this excerpt.
Wow.
It really challenges our perception of what's possible.
It really does. And speaking of challenging perceptions, how do we even begin to wrap our heads around the idea of Earth as the center of it all?
That's where things get really interesting.
Because that's almost like flipping Galileo on his head.
Right. It's like we're taking everything we thought we knew about our place in the universe and turning it inside out.
Yeah.
Because the excerpt isn't suggesting that Earth is the physical center.
Right.
It's not about us being the center of some grand physical structure.
Okay.
It's about consciousness.
Okay.
The idea is that in this consciousness-driven multiverse, Earth, with its teeming billions of minds, is the center.
So it's like
we're this
go
this consciousness-pumping heart.
Okay.
And all of these realities, all these branching timelines, they're radiating outward from us.
Wow.
It's a radical notion.
It really is.
It challenges our very perception of our place in existence.
So instead of just being like passengers along for this wild ride through the multiverse, we're actually the ones setting the course.
Potentially, yes.
Wow. But if we are, then what does that mean for humanity's purpose?
That's the ultimate question, isn't it?
It's a big one.
It is, and the excerpt doesn't shy away from it.
Okay, so tell me more.
It proposes that our role, humanity's role in all of this, is to prepare a divine realm.
A divine realm.
Yeah, a kind of ultimate reality for a higher power.
So we're not just creating realities, we're shaping the very fabric of existence.
For something beyond our current comprehension, yes.
Okay, that's a lot to process.
It's a mind-blowing concept.
It is, and a little bit terrifying, if I'm being honest.
How so?
Well, if we have that much power, what if we mess it up?
That's the catch, isn't it?
Yeah, because humanity, we don't exactly have a spotless track record.
That's true. Our capacity for chaos and conflict is just as much a part of us as our creativity and potential for good.
So are we building a multiverse of wonder or of ruin?
That's the question that hangs over everything.
It's a heavy one.
It really is. And then there's the question of those other entities.
The ones influencing our reality from the shadows.
Exactly. What role are they playing in all of this?
Right. Are they helping or hindering us?
We don't know. And that uncertainty, that lack of control, that's part of what makes it all so unsettling.
Well, there is one slightly reassuring thing about all of this.
Oh, what's that?
Well, the excerpt does throw out this timeline.
Right, a 5 billion year timeline.
Yeah, 5 billion years for all of this to play out.
It does make you feel a bit less pressed for time, doesn't it?
Just a little bit. I mean, 5 billion years. That's almost impossible to even fathom.
It's true. With that kind of time scale, it's tempting to think we have all the time in the world to figure things out.
But then that begs the question, what are we supposed to do with this information?
Right. It's not exactly something you can just work into casual conversation, is it?
Hey, how about those Mets?
Did you know we might be creating a divine realm for a higher power?
Right. It's not exactly light dinner conversation.
No, not unless you're at a very specific kind of dinner party.
And the excerpt doesn't really give us a neat little bow to tie everything up either, does it?
No, it doesn't. It leaves us wrestling with these enormous questions about free will, about the nature of reality itself.
About humanity's place in this grand, chaotic system.
Exactly. It's a lot to grapple with.
It really is. It's definitely giving me a new perspective, that's for sure.
In what way?
Well, even with all the unsettling aspects, there's something exhilarating about it all, too.
I can see that.
This idea that our thoughts, our actions could be creating ripples across this sea of infinite possibilities.
It's a call to awareness, I think, if we really are shaping reality with every choice we make.
Then recognizing that power, that responsibility, that's huge.
It really is. It's a fundamental shift in perspective.
So where does that leave us? Here, now, in this version of reality?
That's the ultimate question, isn't it? The one we're all left pondering.
And do we even have an answer?
I don't think it's about finding all the answers, not in the traditional sense anyway.
So what is it about then?
It's about embracing the mystery, about acknowledging the awe-inspiring potential of existence itself.
And maybe, just maybe, paying a little more attention to those everyday choices we make.
Exactly, because you never know what kind of universe you might spark with something as simple as a cup of coffee.
Or a deep dive into a mind-bending excerpt.
Well, on that note, I think we've given our listeners plenty to think about today.
We certainly have. So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those big questions, and keep your mind open to the vast possibilities.
Because you never know what you might discover.
The most incredible journey might just be the one unfolding in your own imagination.